So, in the last lecture, we have seen the definition of inverse Laplace transform. We have solved some problems based on the definition and using the basic formulas. Okay. So now we'll try to have some more examples. Okay. So, what we have seen in the last lecture. Okay. That using the formulas. Okay. Now, what happens if we have more than one factor in the denominator? Okay, so we have seen what happens if we have only one factor in the denominator. Now we'll see what happens if we have more than one factor in the denominator. Okay, so uh, we have started with inverse Laplace transform. Okay, now we have to see the another method, the method of partial fractions. Now, if we have only one factor in the denominator, then we don't have any problem. We can just find the inverse Laplace transform using the formula that we have. What happens if we have more than one factors in the denominator? So, we know the formula of inverse Laplace transform can treat only one factor at a time in the denominator. Either it will be s plus or minus a, or it will be s square plus or minus a square. Now, if we have more than one factor, then we have to split this into smaller fractions, and this method is called as method of partial fractions. Okay, so what we have to see in the denominator, okay, what factors we have, what are the different types of factors we have. Okay, so first we have linear factor. Okay, so what kind of factor we have in the denominator, and what will be the constant, okay, or numerator chosen for this factor. So first type of factor we have linear factor. Okay, so linear factor will look like this: as plus b. Okay, so we need to remember one thing, that our variable is s, not x. Okay, so here our variable is s, and hence the numerator or the constant corresponding to this factor will be a, b, and onwards. Okay, so for the linear factor we have to consider a singleton constant. Now second, you may have this linear factor repeated number of times. Okay, so for example, if I have repeated linear factor, okay, so that means your factor will look like as plus b bracket raised to r. Okay, so this is the factor which is repeated r times, and hence what will be the constant chosen to this factor, corresponding to this factor? A1, A2, A3, and so on up to AR. Okay, so if we have this factor repeated r times, that means we have to choose r constants corresponding to each power of this factor. Okay, so for example, suppose I have the factor repeated 2 times. So it is 2s, or I'll write as plus b. So this is as plus b repeated 2 times. Then what will be the partial fraction of this? It will be a upon as plus b, plus it will be b upon as plus b bracket square. So you can write here a1 and you can write here a2, or you can write here a and b and so on. So that doesn't matter. Only important thing that we have to consider, this is going to be a singleton, this is going to be a singleton constant, this is going to be a singleton constant. So the constant corresponding to linear term is a singleton. Okay. Now, suppose this is repeated more than 2 times. So you have as plus b repeated 3 times. Then what we are able to do here, or what we are able to get, so it will be a upon as plus b plus b upon as plus b bracket square and plus c upon as plus b bracket cube. Okay, so one thing we need to understand, we have to start with the 1 power, and then we have to end with the maximum power. So start with end power and the maximum end with the start with the minimum power 1 and then end with the maximum power whatever it may be. So here we have a bracket square, so we started with 1 then up to square. Here we have bracket cube, then started with 1, 2 and cube. Okay, so like that you have to treat the linear repeated factors. Then next we have quadratic factor. Okay, so next we have quadratic factor. Okay, so how we are able to get the quadratic factor, or what I will call as a quadratic factor. So we have as square plus bs plus c. This is a quadratic factor. Now, one thing you need to understand, what is going to be the quadratic factor? Okay, so which factor I am going to treat as a quadratic? So suppose I have two factors, s square, I have two factors, s square plus 4 and s square minus 4. Okay, so which of them is going to be quadratic? So is it quadratic or is this quadratic? Okay, now one thing you need to understand, quadratic means irreducible quadratic factor. Okay, this I can reduce at s minus 2 and s plus 2. And hence, this is not the quadratic factor, this is only the quadratic factor. So this is an irreducible polynomial, and hence we call this as a quadratic factor. Whereas this has a power 2. And so if we try to factorize it, it reduces to the smaller linear factors. And hence we cannot treat this as a quadratic factor. So this kind of factors will be treated as a quadratic factors. Okay, so that's why we need to understand a basic difference. What I am going to use the quadratic factor, and once I have this quadratic factor, then its constant is corresponding constant is as plus b. Okay, so there is a simple relation between the numerator to be chosen and the factor in the denominator. So you can see this was the factor in the denominator, and we chose this as a numerators. This was a factor in the denominator, and we chose these are the numerators. Now here, these are this is going to be the factor in the denominator, and then this is the numerator. Okay. Now, what is the relation between the numerator and the factor? Okay, so that we need to understand. So actually, the numerator is general derivative of the factor. So if I consider d by ds of as square plus bs plus c, then this is equal to 2as plus b. And here this term is written as as and this term is written as b. So this way, this numerator chosen for this factor is nothing but the general derivative of that factor. And hence, always we have to think that the numerator chosen is the general derivative of the factor in the denominator. So I hope you are able to get this uh, partial fractions, how to choose the constant or the numerator for this particular factor in the denominator. Okay. So once you are okay with this, then we can go for the example. So everybody got how we are able to choose this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's good. Okay. So now we'll go for the examples. Okay. Yep. So here we'll try to solve the examples based on this. So I want you to have the calculators with you. So please take your calculators with you. Okay, we'll need it, and I'll go with the example. Okay, find the inverse Laplace transform of 2s square plus 3s minus 9 upon s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we want to find the inverse Laplace transform of this. So let the given is a bar of s. So you have here 2s square plus 3s minus 9 upon s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6. Okay, so you can see now we don't have s or we don't have s square, we have s cube here in the denominator. So now we don't have any formula for directly s cube. So what we have to do is we have to reduce this s cube to either s or to either s square. Okay, so to reduce this to either s or s square, we have to look for the factors of this denominator. Okay, the degree of denominator is greater than the degree of numerator, so we don't have any problem with the numerator. Okay, now the question is how we are able to get the factors for this. So there is a method that you have learned called synthetic division. Okay, so using synthetic division, we are able to find out the factors of this. Okay, so for synthetic division, we have to consider the polynomial. So s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6. Okay, and then what we can have is, so we have the coefficient of this. So what are the coefficient of this? We'll be having 1, minus 6, 11, and minus 6. So these are the coefficient. So synthetic division is a trial and error method. Okay. So if it happens that we want to try, so what we are going to try? We are going to try s is equal to plus or minus 1, then plus or minus 2, and so on. Okay, so when I say s is equal to 1, this implies I am trying to find whether this term s minus 1 is a factor of this given polynomial or not. Okay, so first I'll consider with s is equal to 1. So if I consider s is equal to 1, then means I am trying the factor s minus 1. Okay, or in your calculator, you can solve this equation s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6 is equal to 0 and find the factors of this. So we don't do anything to the first term, so that first term remains as it is. Then this and this will multiply, and then I'll write it here. Okay, so it will become 1. Then add these two terms, so I'll be having minus 5. Then multiply this term and this term, and I'll have here minus 5. Then add these two terms, I'll have 6. Then multiply this, I'll have 6 here. Then add this, I'll have 0. Okay, so once I get 0 here, that means this is a factor. So we got our first factor, that is s minus 1. Now, if I divide this polynomial with this factor s minus 1, then we have to find what will be the remaining. So remaining is obtained from here. Okay, so how to write the remaining polynomial after dividing this by this? Okay, so the polynomial that we have s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6, and we have taken one s out of that, so it will remain s square. So first term will be s square. Then next term, this will be 5s, and then this will be plus 6. And we know how to factorize this. So the factors are going to be s minus 2 and s minus 3. The product should be 6 and the sum should be minus 5. So these are the factors. And hence, what I get here, s cube minus 6s square plus 11s minus 6 has the factorization s minus 1, s minus 2, and s minus 3. So as I told you to have the calculator with you, please check what are the factors of this polynomial or what are the solution of this polynomial. You are able to solve the cubic polynomial using your calculator, but if it goes more than that, then this method is very useful because your calculator won't work for s raised to 4, and hence you have to consider this method. So that's why I explained this method here. Okay. Now verify these factors with your calculator. Okay, so I hope you are able to get that. So we got here 2s square plus 3s minus 9 upon, we got the factors s minus 1, s minus 2, and s minus 3. Okay, so we have s minus 3. And this is your a bar of s. Now you can see that we have three factors in the denominator. So we are able to treat only one factor at a time, but we have three factors in the denominator, and hence we have to go for partial fraction. So I consider this to be equation 1. Okay, so let this equation 1. Okay, now we have, okay, so what you'll be having here, see, this is 2s square plus 3s minus 9 upon s minus 1, s minus 2, s minus 3. These all are the linear factors, and moreover they are distinct linear factors. So we don't have any repeated linear factor here, and hence we write the partial fraction as a upon s minus 1 plus b upon s minus 2 plus c upon s minus 3. Okay. Now, the next step is very important. Most of the students have confusion in the next step. So here we have to be careful. Okay, what we can do is, if you can understand the LCM and then you are able to write this, very good. Okay, if you are not able to understand the LCM concept, then the simple thing that you have to do is 2s square plus 3s minus 9 is equal to. So take this denominator on this side and multiply. So we'll be having A into this S minus 1 will get cancelled. What will remain is S minus 2, S minus 3 plus B into S minus 2 will get cancelled and you will be having S minus 1 and S minus 3 and plus C into S minus 3 will get cancelled. So it will be S minus 1 and S minus 2. Okay. So this way we are able to get. Now to solve this, okay, so if I want to have the value of A, then I have to make its denominator equal to 0. Okay, the simple method to get the values of this constant. So if I want to get a value of A, then I'll make its denominator equal to 0. So we can have put, okay, S is equal to 1. Then for B, I'll put S is equal to 2. And for C, I'll put S is equal to 3. So here, this is a benefit for us that all the factors are linear factors, and moreover, these are distinct linear factors. Okay, so this method is applicable only if you have the distinct linear factors. Okay, now what we'll be having if I put S is equal to 1, then this is I'll be having 2 plus 3 minus 9 is equal. Okay, so here we are putting S is equal to 1. So that means this term is going to be 0. So the product is 0. This term is 0. So the product is 0. And hence, what I'll get here is again, I'll have A into. So S is going to be minus 1. This is minus 1 and this is minus 2. Okay, so simplify this. It's going to be minus 4 and this is going to be 2A. So I can write A is equal to minus 4 by 2 and that is equal to minus 2. So we got here A is equal to minus 2. Okay, so we got the value of A. Now we have to think of this B. Okay, so let us see what we are able to get for B. Okay, so put S is equal to 2. So it is 2 into 4 plus 3 into 2 minus 9 is equal to. Okay, so you are putting S is equal to 2. So this term will be 0. This term will be 0. We have the term B into minus 1 and this is sorry. This is going to be 1 here. Okay. So if you are putting S is equal to 2, then we have this 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. Sorry, this 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. And this term 2 minus 3 is going to be minus 1. So I can have this, I can have this 8 plus 6 minus 9 is equal to minus B. So this is going to be, we can have 14 minus 9. So this is 14 minus 9 is equal to B. And this is going to be 5 is equal to minus B. So we got B is equal to 5. Okay. The short we have. Now we have to consider C. So what happens for C? Okay. Now if I am putting S is equal to 3, this term will be 0, this term will be 0. This we have to consider. So that's going to be 2 into 9 plus 3 into 3 minus 9 is equal to. Okay. So what we get here, if I put C, then this S is equal to 3. So C here, and then this will be 2 and this will be 1. So here you have 18 plus 9 minus 9 is equal to 2C. And so 18 is equal to 2C. So C is equal to 18 by 2, that is 9. So C is equal to 9. Okay, this way we are able to get all the values of A, B, and C in this expression. And this expression is nothing but a power of S. So once we get this A, B, and C, then we are able to write. So from equation 1, we get f bar of S is equal to minus 2 upon S minus 1 plus minus 5. This will be minus 5. Okay, so this B is equal to minus 5. Okay, so this is minus 5 S minus 2 plus this is 9 upon S minus 3. Okay, so this way we got the value f bar of S is equal to minus 2 upon S minus 1 minus 5 upon S minus 2 plus 9 upon S minus. So this is the simplest form of the function f bar of S, and hence we are able to apply the inverse Laplace transform. So we have inverse Laplace transform of f bar of S is equal to inverse Laplace transform of minus 2 upon S minus 1, then minus 5 upon S minus 2 plus 9 upon S minus 3. So we can have the linearity property of inverse Laplace transform. We'll be having minus 2 Laplace inverse of 1 upon S minus 1, minus 5 Laplace inverse of 1 upon S minus 2, plus 9 Laplace inverse of 1 upon S minus 3. Okay, so here we know the Laplace inverse of 1 upon S minus A. So what it is? What is the Laplace inverse of 1 upon S minus A?
e raised to 80.
E raised to 80. So here it will become e raised to t minus 5 e raised to 2t plus 9 e raised to 3t. Okay, so it is e raised to 3t. So that way we are able to get the Laplace inverse of f bar of S is equal to minus 2 e raised to t minus 5 e raised to 2t plus 9 e raised to. So this way we are able to get the inverse Laplace transform using method of partial fractions. So do you have any doubt in this example?
No, sir.
That's great. So we'll go for the another example. Okay, we'll see the another example. So we can have a question as find inverse Laplace transform of 2s minus 3 upon s square minus 4 2s minus. Okay, so we go with solution. Let f bar of s is equal to 2s minus 3 upon s square minus 4 s minus 2. Okay, so what we have here, what kind of factors we have? Do we have a quadratic factor and a linear factor? What kind
No,
of
sir.
factors we have?
No, sir.
Yes. So that's what we need to identify. That square is there, so that does not mean always it will be a quadratic factor. So actually it is 2s minus 3 upon s plus 2 s minus 2 into s minus 2. Okay, so what you got here, 2s minus 3 upon s plus 2 and s minus 2 bracket square. So this is a bar of s. That means this is the case of linear repeated factor. So this is a linear factor which is repeated 2 times. Okay, and hence we have to be careful. So this is your equation 1. So now we have, okay, so what will be having, 2s minus 3 upon s plus 2 s minus 2 bracket square is equal to a upon s plus 2 plus b upon s minus 2 plus c upon s minus 2 bracket square. Please be careful here that this is the linear factor. So the partial fraction corresponding to that linear factor is this. This is the different linear factor. So partial fraction corresponding to this different distinct linear factor is this. Okay, and now as I have told you that if you are comfortable with the concept of LCM, then it's good. If you are not comfortable with the concept of LCM, then just take this denominator and multiply on the right hand side. So you are able to get 2s minus 3 is equal to a into this s plus 2 will get cancelled. So s minus 2 bracket square we have. Okay, that's what you will be having. Now plus here for B we'll have s plus 2 and s minus 2, and for C we'll have here s plus 2 only. So are you able to get this expression? Is there any
Yes,
difficulty
sir.
in understanding this expression? You are able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Good. Okay, so once you understood this expression, then the rest of the things become easy. So here we have two linear factors, two distinct linear factors, one is repeated. Okay, so what you can do is you can use the previous method, but remember one thing, that previous method is very useful in case of distinct linear factor. So we'll try to use the previous method. What I can do is I can put s is equal to minus 2, as I have to decide the value of a, to determine the value of a, and hence I have to make its denominator equal to 0. So s plus 2 is equal to 0. That means s is going to be minus 2. So if I put it minus 2, I'll be having 2 into minus 2 minus 3 is equal to a. So I am putting s is equal to minus 2. So this term is 0. So that means this product is going to be 0. And this term is going to be 0. So this product is going to be 0. So here I'll be having minus 2 bracket square. So this becomes minus 4 minus 3. And here I'll be having this term. It will be minus 4. And here you'll be having minus 4 square. So it is going to be 16a. And this is minus 7 is equal to 16a. So I can write a is equal to minus 7 by 16. Are you getting this term? I hope you are getting this term. So now next, what I can do is put s is equal to 2. Okay. So if I put s is equal to 2, then probably I am able to get one of the value of B or C. Okay. So let us see what happens if I put s is equal to 2. So I'll get 2 into 2 minus 3 is equal to, if you put s is equal to 2, then this time is going to be 0, this time is going to be 0. So you get C into 2 plus 2. And this is going to be 4 minus 3 is equal to 4C. And so you'll have 1 is equal to 4C. So you got C is equal to 1 by 4. Okay, so I got the value of A, I got the value of C. Then now question is how to get the value of B. Okay, so the value of B can be calculated using as the trial and error method. So we use the value of S, the integer value of S precisely, minimum integer value of S, such that it is not used earlier. Okay, so -2 is used earlier, 2 is used earlier. So that means these two values we cannot use, and hence what we can do is we can use the minimum value of this minimum integer value of this yes. So easy is put yes is equal to 0. So you always start you always have to start with 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2 and like that. So if I put s is equal to 0, I'll be having -3 on the left hand side, and now what happens on the right hand side? Okay, so as I put s is equal to 0, so this I'll get -3. Then I'll have a into, okay, so a into this is -2 square plus b into 2 and -2 and plus c into 2. So this is -3. Then this is going to be 4a. Then this is minus 4b. And then this is 2. Okay, so here what we get is we get 4b is equal to 4 times minus 7 by 16 plus 2 times 1 by 4 plus 3. Now we can simplify this as 4b is equal to minus 7 by 4 plus 2 by 4 and plus 3. So we can write this as -7 plus 2 and plus 12. So by 4, that is 4b is equal to, so we'll have 7 by 4 here, and hence b is equal to 7 by 16. So we got the values of a, b and c. Again, so once we get the values of a, b and c, then we are able to use equation 1, and then we are able to write this f bar of s. So we have f bar of s is equal to minus 7 by 16 upon s plus 2 plus 7 by 16 upon s minus 2 plus 1 by 4 upon s minus 2 bracket square. Okay, so we got here, this is minus 7 by 16, 1 upon s plus 2 plus 7 by 16, 1 upon s minus 2 plus 1 by 4 upon s minus 2 bracket square. Again, so that's what we got. Now we can have the inverse Laplace transform of this. So now consider inverse Laplace transform of f bar of s is equal to Laplace inverse of minus 7 by 16, 1 upon s plus 2 plus 7 by 16, 1 upon s minus 2 plus 1 by 4, 1 upon s minus 2 bracket square. Okay, so using the linearity property, we are able to write this as minus 7 by 16 Laplace inverse of 1 upon s plus 2 plus 7 by 16, then Laplace inverse of 1 upon s minus 2 and plus 1 by 4 Laplace inverse of 1 upon s minus 2 bracket square. Okay, so that's what we got here, and then we know the how to find the Laplace inverse of 1 upon s minus a or s plus a. So it is going to be minus 7 by 16. This will be e raised to minus 2t plus 7 by 16. This will be e raised to 2t plus, here we have to use the first shifting property. So 1 by 4 e raised to 2t into Laplace inverse of 1 upon s square. Okay, so this is minus 7 by 16 e raised to minus 2t plus 7 by 16 e raised to 2t and plus 1 by 4 e raised to 2t into Laplace inverse. This will be t raised to 2 minus 1 upon gamma 2. Okay, and we know the value of gamma 2 is going to be 1 factorial. So we get here Laplace inverse of f bar of s is equal to minus 7 e raised to minus 2t by 16 plus 7 e raised to 2t by 16 plus you will be having e raised to 2t and is going to be t upon this gamma 2 is going to be 1 factorial, so it is going to be 1. So we get here 1 into 4 and that's going to be 4. So this way we are able to find the Laplace inverse Laplace transform by using method of partial fraction. So I hope you have got this problem. Yeah, you got the solution of this problem. Is there any step that you have doubt, or do you have any doubt? Okay, fine. So you got it. You got both the examples. You got the method. Okay. So I hope you are able to get the method of partial fractions. We'll solve some more problems based on this.